Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good day and welcome to the show. Today is the 7th, Thursday, the 7th of May, 2020. And you know what? The meat supply chains in the United States. There's lots of meat out there on the hoof, in the animals. But what's really broken down in the meat supply chain is the middleman. A lot of these people that raise beef and pork and chicken, they rely upon the middleman to get the meat from the manufacturer of the meat producers, to the stores, and sell retail in the store, and they sell wholesale to the meat packing companies and the producers that ship it out to the stores. Well, there's a break there in the meat production. The slaughterhouses then go to the store. That's where the break is. And so the farmers are stuck with this meat and no way of moving it retail because they're only used to wholesaling it. So what's happening is now some of the farmers are actually finding ways to sell their meat directly to the public. In other words, they're changing their business from to selling to the wholesalers to directly moving it to the public through things like farmers markets and things like that. So it's a problem within the supply chain, not so much that there's actually a shortage of meat, because there's quite a bit of meat on the hoof, you know what I mean, out there, and so that's where the problem lies. Now, another thing I want to point out this morning, we're going to start the charts right here and take a look at this. Israel has announced an antibody that neutralizes the coronavirus, even amongst the infected. This might be the big promising treatment. We have things like hydroxychloroquine or whatever the heck it's called, and Z-Packs or whatever, and we have this Renasivin or whatever it's called, but those are treatments, but they're not like the big thing that's going to really take care of this when you get really, really ill. Now, I'm not talking about the mild illness. I'm talking about people that are on at death's door. This antibody might prove to be the really effective treatment for that. And so Israel's got it. They're going to start to, it says this would be the world's first antidote to the coronavirus, announced the country's Ministry of Defense. Israel Institute for Biological Research. Israel announced an antibody that neutralizes the coronavirus even amongst the infected. Israel's Institute for Biological Research and the Israel Ministry of Defense announced that the development phase of the antibody that would be effective in neutralizing SARS-CoV-2, known as the coronavirus, has been completed. Through its Twitter account, the Israel Ministry of Defense confirmed the development of what could be the first antidote for COVID-19. And evidently this thing really works, and they're in the development phase. They're going to go through trials or whatever, I guess. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. This is very similar. They found early success in taking people's blood that had antibodies in it, but this is a little bit different. This is the antibody itself, and what they can do is they've produced it evidently on a small scale, on a very small scale. So they know they can do it. It's just a matter now of ramping up production. And because this is not really a drug or anything like that, there's probably not going to be any too many side effects or anything from it. It really could be a real successful treatment for COVID-19. Okay, let's move on and take a look at the markets now. Silver price today is shooting upwards. We're looking at up 52 cents, which is a rather big jump in the price of silver. Let's take a look at gold. Gold 1713 is shooting upwards. It's up $29.30, which is a big move upwards in the price of gold today. It's nice to see, but we've seen so much manipulation to the downside for so long, for such a long period of time, that whenever we see it go up like this, we're always thinking to ourselves, we're always waiting for the shoe to drop, you know. And so this is just a wait and see attitude about this. Let's take a look at cryptocurrencies today. Bitcoin's 257 billion for the industry. And look at this Bitcoin dominance. You remember about 2 days ago I was saying it was 66? Now it's 67.5. We see this Bitcoin dominance rising like this. This is not a good signal in my mind, But we're looking at a Bitcoin price of 94.62. And we're looking at a Litecoin price of 45.69. And Ethereum's 204. Bitcoin Cash 243. Bitcoin SV is 203. And the thing is when you see that Bitcoin dominance going up like that, that's a bad, in my mind, that's a bad signal for crypto. When you see the opposite of that, you see the Bitcoin dominance falling, that's very bullish. That's really bullish, So this is a bearish signal we're getting off of this, with that Bitcoin dominance rising so high as it is right now. Let's take a look at Dow Jones Industrial Average today. And we're looking at 350 points to the upside, 24,015. There's going to be, very, very near future, not too far out, there's just going to be a flood of bankruptcies across the United States. Large and small, and even personal bankruptcies. Just a flood of them across the United States. It's almost going to flood the system. Personal bankruptcies are almost going to flood the system as much as we saw the joblessness flood the system a few weeks ago. And this cannot, the stock market, unless they continue and even do more stimulus, they're not going to be able to hold these levels unless they really ramp up the stimulus. Now, I'm not saying they can't, and, we're seeing a move in gold and silver too, because they're starting to realize now that zero and below zero interest rate policy is really starting to take hold. And by the time we get to the end of this year, we might be actually in negative interest rates. Quite seriously. I don't know how this is going to function within the financial system. First thing I can think of is they're going to have to get rid of cash. Because everybody will pull their money out of the bank and hold it in cash. Nobody wants to be charged 3, 4, 5% a year on just to hold their money in the bank, when they can be charged 0 if they're holding cash. So they're going to have to get rid of cash to implement these policies. They'll probably come up with some nonsense like cash is germy. Well, the door handles on your house are germy too. What are they going to do next? Say you can't have a door handle on your house? No more doorknobs? It's just absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, let's take a look now at crude oil. 25.12. It's up $1.13 on the day, or 4.71%. And it's starting to move downwards now, though, a little bit. It was up as high as 26.61. Let's take a look now at U.S. Treasuries, and we see these falling yields, and they're not falling in a small way either. This is significant. 9 basis points on the 30-year, and we're looking at 8.6 basis points on the 10-year. We're looking at a 10-year at 0.62%, and we're looking at a 30-year at 1.32%. So we got falling yields. Quite impressive today, the size of the yields that are falling. And, I think that this is what's having the effect upon gold, Anyway, let's take a look now at the dollar. And the dollar's easing back just a little bit today, but it's insignificant. 99.96. It's still up near 100, U.S. dollar index. Okay, guys. Thank you for listening to this show. This is as an effective treatment for this COVID disease. What Israel's just come up with, if they can quickly ramp up production of this, I'm not sure. I don't think that you could probably take it in a pill form, but it very likely could be taken. I'm not sure. I'm just going out on a limb, but I'm thinking it has to get into your bloodstream. So probably an IV or maybe an injection. I'm not sure, but probably not in a pill form because it has to go into your bloodstream. These antibodies, but I'm going to tell you if this is correct. An injection of these antibodies into your system would be a miraculous cure. The person would almost immediately start to feel better, because this is what would really kill off this is a magic bullet to kill off the disease. And if they can ramp up production, we're going to have to wait and see. It might be a few months down the road, but this might prove to be the most effective treatment. So listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.